Where am I at here? CC record?
Just hit the record and play button at the same time.
Right on. Sounds good. Picture's good.
Okay.
Just don't stumble over her. Remember, after she asks you a question, go ahead and repeat the question, then answer it. So we'll have nice time in between your answer to her question.
Okay. Alright. Can you introduce yourself and your name?
Introduce myself. My name is Angela.
Angela. How long have you been medicating?
I've been using gosh, can we take and start over here?
You're good.
Okay. Yeah.
You're good.
Okay. I've self-medicated with cannabis for about 28 years now.
Why do you medicate?
Why do I medicate? I medicate for a various number of medical reasons.
Such as?
I use it for nerve pain, muscle spasms, swelling in my joints, pain, anxiety, sleepless nights, stomach problems. That's several things that it helps me with.
What are some of the side effects of using medical cannabis?
What are some of the side effects of using medical cannabis? As being a self-medicator of 28 years, there are no side effects. And I've quit periodically, 8 months at a time, and there were no withdrawal symptoms whatsoever, while quitting.
What does your family think of you using medical cannabis?
What does my family think about me using medical cannabis? Some are okay with it. Some in very close family have disowned me. I've been through a rough time after a divorce and then the car accident, which has left me unable to work, and no help from mother or a grandmother, and I've been disowned basically from that side of the family. But like I said, I do have my father who has had cancer and understands and hearing the benefits that cannabis cures cancer also. So it's kind of a mixture, but yeah, I've been disowned by family members because of my use of cannabis.
Why do you want medical cannabis legalized?
Why do I want medical cannabis legalized? Numerous reasons. One, it would help many suffering people from suffering all types of things, symptoms from cancer, chronic pain, their muscle spasms from MS, but probably one of the most near and dear is like our veterans who suffer the PTSD, and we have a lot of soldiers coming home from war and they're going to be riddled with PTSD, and I also suffer from that too. And cannabis is the most effective, over Xanax, which makes you not be able to feel. And I feel like our soldiers need that option of medical cannabis to treat their PTSD.
So they can still function?
Yes, so they can still function in society and not turn to alcohol and let that destroy their brains. And there's one suicide a day on vets who come back from Iraq, and that is just one too many. There's more that die from suicide due to suffering from PTSD and the symptoms of it, night tremors and everything associated with it. I think that our soldiers need a safer alternative.
Have you ever been hassled by law enforcement?
More than once. The main one that needs to be the attention brought to is jailed over just a small bag of weed, and while in jail, sexually assaulted by a deputy, while I was incarcerated. And, that's wrong. And I'm a mother, and, I wasn't bothering anyone. And it's a real problem. I'm not lonely on this. It's happening in our prisons, in our county jails. And, I've been harassed many times by police, sexually and physically, put in the hole because you complain that I have this physical ailment from the wreck, from my car wreck, and I'm being punished for it, which is wrong. And when you're in an isolation situation, it puts you vulnerable to, someone to take advantage of you, which is wrong for, someone to take their power and use it for no good, to do something that was totally wrong. So, yes, law enforcement is one of the hugest problems in this prohibition, with the prohibition of marijuana, is the number that are incarcerated over a bag of weed. I'm more concerned about the meth labs that are being busted within 1,000 yards from my son's high school. I think law enforcement should focus more on that than, someone with a bag of weed, that they're probably having to get from a black market to use for their MS or, their chronic pain or their anxiety, PTSD, whatever. So, yes, it's very mixed up in our society right now, and it is a huge problem. And that's all the questions.
Have you had a professional ever diagnose you with PTSD?
Mm-hmm.
And what led to your PTSD?
Childhood sexual assault, the husband leaving me with the 9 staples, and he never called for 911. I guess I do need the tissue. And the childhood memories were always pressed, and the night that, I ended up with that gash in my head, I guess the traumatic experience brought back surface those memories from childhood. And then my mom's been married 5 times. I didn't really know my father until I was maybe 22. So, and then, sexually taken advantage of in a prison system or a county jail. It was, by people that were supposed to protect me. My son was frisked, by cops, him and his friends, and was told that they were going to take them to the bad end of town and let some thugs and gangsters deal with them down there. And, these are people, children, these are 16-year-old boys should be looking for these cops to protect and serve, and, they're taking their power to authority and taking advantage of people and ruining lives, and, things need to change in our institutions, in our jails, and our prisons.
Have your children ever been arrested for marijuana possession?
Absolutely not. My son is a AB student. He's a football player for a really good high school in our city, and he's on the varsity team. He's a great kid. My daughter, she is also in the honors program, and she's a fast pitch softball player, and right now the best pitcher in the state and in the World Series, and you know, both of my kids are driven, and I educate them about cannabis and the benefits of it. And, you know, they've been around people who've drank alcohol. Their father drinks alcohol. And, you know, they don't see that people who smoke marijuana harm anyone, or, you know, and I educate them about the medical benefits of it instead of trying to hide it from them. So I don't hide it from my kids, and neither one of my kids use drugs. You know, they're athletes and they take their health very seriously. And they understand why I use it, you know, for medical reasons. Especially not being able to walk after this car wreck, and not being able to get help from doctors because I have no health insurance, and they seen that I benefited from it. It eased my pain. It got me up moving, so why wouldn't they be for something, you know, that helped me?
Can you tell us anything about Gatewood?
Mr. Gatewood Galbraith?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I never knew the man. Unfortunately, I was always for his movement since I was 19. That was back in 1991. I want to say that was his first campaign. I registered to vote for him, and at 19, which was 21 years ago, I was pretty much crazy then, as I'm crazy now. I got to meet his daughter recently at a press conference for a medical marijuana bill named for him in Kentucky, the Gatewood Galbraith Medical Marijuana Act of Kentucky. And I got to meet his daughter, and I told her, you know, my maiden name was Gatewood, and she proceeded to tell me that her grandmother's maiden name was Gatewood, and that is where Lewis Gatewood Galbraith got his name, and we could possibly be related. You know, I know he was a great man. He wanted to fill these fields of Kentucky with hemp, and, you know, I always knew the benefits and the resources and the textiles and what can save our earth because of this plant, you know. I believed wholeheartedly, and, you know, everything that he believed in. You know, he was more for hemp movement in Kentucky than medical marijuana, but he was also for medical marijuana also. But I want to say I voted for him 3 out of the 5 times that he ran. So, yeah, maybe I'll check Ancestry.com and we could be related, you know, with the name being the same. It's just kind of ironic.
So what do you think about Kentucky's future now that Gatewood's gone?
I really hope that everybody bands together and unites and, you know, put individual differences aside and focus at the matter at hand here, and how hemp can benefit our state. I go to the country where I graduate, and it's empty fields. I maybe saw 2 tobacco fields, and in 1850 it was our #1 cash crop at 5 million in 1850. And, you know, with the medical benefits of cannabis oil, hemp oil, you know, I want to see the fields of Kentucky overgrown with hemp once again. And that was Gatewood's main dream, was to put the fields of hemp back into Kentucky. And it could be an industry for our whole nation, you know, not only our state. You know, it could change our whole industry. It would create a new industry, and as far as medicine and clothing, textiles, you name it, we should create things in our own country instead of getting things from other countries, you know. It'd be a new agriculture because there's hardly even dairy farms. It's like there is no small farmer anymore, and I hope Gatewood's dream eventually comes true, you know, with Fields of Hemp. It's my field of dreams. Huh. And also, you know, medical cannabis that can benefit so many who suffer.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I appreciate everybody's time and listening to me, and I feel a lot better kind of opening up about all of this and speaking my mind and being proud of doing so.
That's great. You did a good job.
Thank you so much.
Ladies, can we wrap?
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
That was awesome, man.
Really?
Wrap.
It's just like when I spoke at the